Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Miraculous, episode 21. So I don't think we did Miraculous last week. I think it's been a couple weeks since we did Miraculous, but we're back with more episodes. I think last time was a two-parter, I think. This week we'll only be doing one episode, mainly because I've just done so many videos this week. And a lot of them not even reactions. Hell, I think most of them not even reactions. If you're counting the Nuzlocke 2, which is just an ongoing series. Especially the Nuzlocke, yeah, because that took up a lot of recording time on Monday and Tuesday. But anyways, so yeah, we're here with another episode of Miraculous today. And I'm interested to see where it goes. It's like, again, it's got my interest with the bigger picture story that's going on, but at the same time, it's like a lot of the smaller, just more secluded episodes are still a bit much. I recently heard something that there's this video released. I don't know if anyone had seen it, but I have not seen it because I heard there's spoilers in it for the second and third season or whatnot. But I was told that the video basically goes into all the problems with Miraculous and how, in the person's opinion, it can't be fixed. That the series is beyond repair at this point. And again, that's all an opinionated video, and I can't say anything regarding it because I haven't seen it. But I was told what one of the points were because it is something that I already knew about and already complained about myself. And that is the overabundant nature of the kind of villain of the week story. You know, the very episodic villain of the week nature of the series, how most of the seem to just be like, oh, let's just bring in this random ass akumatized villain of the week and not actually advance anything. I was the person who told me this didn't go into detail or anything about what was said in the video because, again, the video does talk about the future seasons. But I was just told that that was a thing, and that once I catch up with the series, or if I ever drop it at any point again, that I could check that out. But yeah, that is something that I very much noticed with the series. Even now, even after getting the bigger picture stuff, the bigger plot points and all, it still very much has that very episodic feel to it most of the time. And even though some of the episodic stuff has gotten better over time, overall, it just, again, it does feel like it's not going anywhere. And I think that's why so many times I end up having like a couple weeks between episodes and stuff. And why I don't like focus on this series as much as I do with other ones that we're reacting to. Because I'm not as excited about it. It honestly, out of all the shows I'm reacting to right now, this is the one I'm least excited about. But I still enjoy it enough, and I don't feel like I want to drop it just yet. I don't feel like I hate it, more than I'm annoyed by the decision to do this Monster of the Week thing every time, pretty much. And it's not like it's the only show to ever do that. Hell, Sailor Moon is the original Sailor Moon, the Viz Sailor Moon. That show is infamous for having so much random Monster of the Week bullshit. So it's like, yeah, this kind of thing happens, and it sucks. But at the same time, not really too much you can do about it. At this point, the only options are to continue watching and hope to see some more big story stuff, or you just drop it. Really, the only two choices. And the problem is, it's like, you don't know which episodes are going to be important or not when you're watching. Because some episodes could surprise you and come back and be really important. And you'd never have known. So it's like you can't even skip episodes, and even if you could, I don't do that. You guys know I do not. I have talked about it before. I do not skip episodes, no matter what. But yeah, it's just it's really kind of irksome and hard to get into this series when you know that it's like most of these episodes are going to mean nothing. Most of these episodes are just random filler, basically. And if you cut down the episodes to only the stuff that was important, it's like you'd probably only have enough to fill like one 26 episode season, which is kind of sad, but still. Um, but the point is that for now, at least, I do not feel this series is going to be dropped. That could change at any time, though. It basically depends on how annoyed I get by this all, how annoyed I get by it, and how much I just feel like it just isn't going anywhere. And I feel that as long as they continue to sprinkle in little bits of the big stuff, little bits of the important story, within a reasonable time frame, then it will be fine. But I don't know, because again, it's out of everything I'm reacting to, it's the one I'm least excited to get to every time, and honestly, it's the one that I am willing to put off. So there's points where I'm wondering if I even should continue it. um, but for now, I will be, especially because this is a donation reward for Smurf Vlogs. And as of now, it's like unless I really feel like I don't want to watch it anymore or react to it anymore, I will be continuing. Like, because that's especially my rule for donation rewards. I will not drop it unless I really do not like it, or like where it's going, or just really just can't stand reacting to or watching it anymore. I have to have like no interest in continuing. um, and right now I do have a slight interest. It's just this series is probably going to be the least commonly uploaded on the channel. Let's just be honest. I want to at least finish season one though, because I am close to finishing season one. If I can at least finish season one, there's at least that. Because then, no matter what, I get to at least have a break from it, which will probably be very good for me. Because then I can come back into season two more refreshed. So that's my goal, at least for now. Finishing season one. I don't remember what happened in the last episodes. I don't even remember what they were about, like, at all. I think it was a two-parter, but I'm not actually confident in that. Because it's been a couple weeks. But yeah, I don't know anything about what's to come in this episode. I hope it's good. I don't know what to expect. It's probably going to be another, like, Monster of the Week thing, though. I mean, I assume it will be, because, again, almost every episode is, so. We'll see, though. We'll see. Um, let's just get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause as a redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. There's only one this time. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so that episode was silly. I love cooking competitions, and I love that they kind of integrated that into this, but the actual episode itself was really silly. It was full of an unbelievable amount of puns. I know I didn't mention that during the reaction, but I did notice all of those. But even on top of that, why did they make him Naruto run? I'm not gonna get over that. And they made they made Jagged Stone Naruto run, and then they made Kung Fu look like fucking Goku. It's like that had to have been on purpose. But at the same time, it's also kind of ridiculous. Like I thought it was funny, but this dude's Chinese, not Japanese. And they made a point of saying that in the episode because Chloe had been thinking he was Japanese or had been just, racist stereotyping basically. Um but then after he changes it's Japanese like references and stuff. Eh, I mean, his giant pizza sword basically looked like Cloud's Buster sword, at least from what I know of it. And it's like all these references are to Japanese properties: Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, um, Final Fantasy, and hell, if the sword that the one dude was using was a reference to Soul Calibur, which is possible, I guess, even that a Japanese property. It's like, dudes, it almost feels a little wrong to do that. To make to have like this character who is like notably Chinese, who is blatantly said to be Chinese, and for the assumption of Japanese to actually be seen as kind of racist stereotyping, to make him his akumatized form like that is kind of wrong in my eyes. Now, I mean, I can't fully say or anything because I'm not Asian myself. So I can't like fully say how people like that would see it, but I don't know. It made me a little uncomfortable. Just the fact that they were that they made such a point of saying he wasn't Japanese, that he was Chinese, and then making every reference they gave after that Japanese. It's like, really? Really? Um, but the entire episode just it was so silly. It was so much silliness. So much ridiculous action, so many like ideas that were just over the top as hell. Like even for this show. And it just I honestly would have rather seen more about the cooking competition. I would have rather seen more about that. That would have been more interesting to me. Honestly, I would have been fine if this episode had no akumatization in it. Um, because that was definitely it just felt like the weakest part to me because of its possible insultingness. I know that's probably not a word, but still, you know what I mean. Because of just it being way too over the top to the point where it was just kind of silly and unreasonably so. To the point where it was just like it was just too ridiculous. It was just too ridiculous for me to actually like enjoy outside of like an ironic sense. I mean, that's kind of the what I how I felt like this episode was. I enjoyed it in how bad it was. I enjoyed it because it was so ridiculous. But as it was actually, like, it was kind of bad. It was so dumb and again, possibly insulting. Again, I can't personally say because I am not Chinese or Japanese, so I can't say whether that would be insulting to Chinese or Japanese people. I'm not obviously an expert on that. I can only say what would be insulting to me and to like groups that I represent, like the LGBT community. Um, but yeah, it's like that. It's just like it just seemed ridiculous to me, a little too much so. And I just I didn't enjoy it as I have with other episodes, which sucks because it was about cooking, and I really like that kind of stuff. As I said, I watch a bunch of different cooking shows, and I have throughout a lot of my life. There's a bunch I watch on Netflix even now, and it's like I love that kind of stuff. It's fun, and I just love food in general. I've talked about that before too. I just really love food, not just eating it, but just food in general. How it's made, how it's how different ingredients are combined and stuff like that. It just vastly interests me. And it's like this episode was just weak and again too overly silly to the point where it was only it was kind of funny for how ridiculous and bad it was. I guess you could kind of compare, if you want to understand exactly what I mean by that, you could kind of compare it to like Birdemic or Tommy Wiseau's The Room, one of those so bad it's good movies. One of those movies that it's like it's obviously really terrible. It's obviously really horribly made, but in how bad it is, it's actually kind of entertaining and funny. It's actually kind of fun to watch, but it is still bad. And that's kind of how I felt this episode went. It was a bad episode. It was poorly handled. It was poorly made. But it was so poorly made, it was actually kind of funny. I'm never going to get over the fact that Jagged Stone Naruto run. That threw me so off, and it was just the funniest goddamn thing I think I've seen in this show. Because I just did not expect it. It just, I mean, even after we saw the dude was dressed like Super Saiyan Goku, I just still did not fucking accept it or expect it. It just came out of nowhere and it just completely threw me off. I don't even have anything more to say on this. I'm trying to stretch this out, but I really don't have anything more to say on this. Except yeah, I kind of touched on this, but I guess I can expand on it a tiny bit. Yeah, this episode kind of made me hate Chloe even more because she's kind of racist. Like racist stereotyping is still racism. Hell, this was just on what would you do? This was just on this week's episode of What Would You Do? Racist stereotyping is still racism, even if it's meant in a positive way, which in this case it's not. But it's like Chloe automatically assuming that because he's Asian, he must be Japanese and he must like cook sushi and shit. And it's like, dude, stop. It's like that irritates me. That kind of shit always irritates me. But it's like Chloe, I mean, we know she's a bitch, but it's like that's a little more than just being a bitch. That's fucked up. But yeah, I have nothing else to say after that though. This episode just completely threw me for a loop. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.